Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sandra Blackie, Body by Blackie Live, and this is our second broadcast. Today's topic is going to be, do you cheat on your diet? We're going to talk about some pros and cons. We're also going to talk about some strategies so that if you do decide to deviate from your diet, that you're not blowing your diet. So, back when I was a bodybuilder, I was taught how to diet really strict, to cut my calories really low, to cut my carbohydrates really low. And one thing that I noticed was that at the end of the diet, whether I won, whether I lost, win, lose, or draw, I always really overate. So this whole notion of cheating on a diet came to me through personal experience. Every time I did a really strict diet, I binged afterwards. So there were times where I would be really successful. I'd get down to a really lean state. I would compete. Sometimes I'd place in the money. But no matter what, all I did afterwards was eat all the stuff that I couldn't eat for a long time. So I turned a cheat meal into a cheat day, and then a cheat week, and then a cheat month. And so basically I was out of control. So this topic is close to my heart because I've been able to overcome this feast or famine, or this up and down, or this black-white, this real extreme way of eating or dieting in a way that helps me get my goal. So today I'm all about health and sustainability. And even if I do help people get ready for bodybuilding shows or help them get ready for a wedding or some time-sensitive thing, I always want to teach them how to do it over a long period of time, and I always want them to maintain their health in the process. So I see William, Daniel, Sandra, welcome aboard. Hi, Roger. Feel free to put your questions in the comment. Today we're talking about the pros and cons of cheating on your diet, and then at the end of the broadcast, I'm going to give you some strategies so that you can sustain your diet and sustain your health. So why do people cheat on their diet plan? I guess that's the first question. Why do they cheat? And I kind of alluded to one of the reasons just a few moments ago. If the diet is too strict, meaning your physical body is not getting the right nutrients to sustain itself, at some point somebody's going to deviate from the diet. So if the calories are too low, that means that the energy you're getting through food is way too low. If your carbohydrates, which are your primary energy sources, are too low, that's another reason for binging. However, some people go on diets and their fats are too low and they binge on fats too. Most diets typically keep the protein at a level where I don't know too many people that binge on cans of tuna and chicken breast. So physically, the diet is too restrictive. That, to me, is number one. Hi, Peter. Hey, Karen. Feel free to post your questions below. And if you feel that this is a valuable broadcast, please tag 3 of your friends so that if they're online, they can come in and listen. They'll know that we're here. So the second reason why people cheat on their diet plan is maybe they're physically or emotionally tired. So physical tiredness, usually people tend to reach out for foods that give them energy. So when somebody's physically exhausted, they usually reach out for carbohydrates or fats because those are the energy sources. And usually they're not the healthy ones. So the more fatigued somebody is, typically the less responsible their food choices are going to be. You can be emotionally tired, and sometimes it looks like this. Oh, I've had such a rough day. I just need some chocolate. It's going to make me feel better. So that's a deviation, being just emotionally tired. So Bruce Copeland says, my biggest problem is that I travel for work. So If you're going too long without food, Bruce, pack a snack with you, and that way maybe the long period of time without food um, can be shortened. Put a little snack in there, maybe an apple or a handful of almonds or maybe both, and that way it can sustain you so that you don't go too long without food. Because when people go too long without food, which is a form of restriction, they usually overcompensate. Another time of day when people actually cheat on their diet is late at night, and there's a lot of reasons for this. Um, Maybe that person is bored. Maybe they are alone or lonely. Maybe they didn't eat enough during the day. So when I look at my clients' food journals, a high percentage of the time when they're first starting out on their diet plan, what I notice is that they don't eat that much in the morning. They eat a little bit more around lunchtime. Often they go too long without food between lunch and dinner, and then dinner and after dinner becomes the largest amount of food that the person is consuming in a day. So if the person is eating at night, it's very possible that they underate during the day, therefore they're overcompensating at night, in addition to emotional stuff. So imagine the physical body is starving and the emotional part of the person is not quite in their best place. You've got a double whammy encouraging you to overeat at night or maybe cheat on your diet plan. So let's move to the fourth reason. And I've talked to a lot of my clients and friends about this one. Did you know that if alcohol is involved, there's a higher chance that you're going to cheat on your diet at night? And there's a few reasons for that. I mean, one of the reasons is that alcohol makes us less disciplined. So if I've had a couple of glasses of wine, it's a lot easier to eat chocolate peanut butter cups and macadamia nuts at night. If I don't have any wine, it's a lot easier to be responsible with my food choices. So Joyce is asking a question. My biggest problems is I eat to celebrate. I eat when I'm sad. I eat when I'm happy. I eat when I'm tired. I just eat out of control. Well, at the end of this broadcast, Joyce, I am going to give you a strategy that might be very, very helpful for all of those reasons. So just stay tuned. So if you take alcohol out, chances are you're going to have a little bit more discipline to stay on your plan. Also, alcohol has an effect on blood sugar. So believe it or not, I used to bounce at the Blue Tattoo. When I first moved to San Diego in 1993, I was actually a bouncer at the Blue Tattoo. So at the end of the night, it'd be about 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, and we would be leaving the bar, and Subway and Pizza by the Slice had lineups of people down the road. So here's the thing. Alcohol brings blood sugar up, and then it brings blood sugar down. So when blood sugar is up, we feel good. When blood sugar is down, we start to get tired, and we also start to get hungry when blood sugar is low. So that could be another reason why if you're trying to control your food at night, especially, cut back on the alcohol. Hey, welcome aboard, Lisa. Good to have you here. And Val Street, good old friend of mine. She's a trainer up in Los Angeles. Hey, Val, feel free to put your website at the bottom if you want, because I'm sure people can use your help up in the LA area. So I'm going to go to the fifth reason why people cheat on their diet plan. And that's while they're hanging out with their friends. Now, I don't think that's a horrible thing. I mean, if you are eating clean and healthy and you're eating in a goal-oriented way for a high percentage of your week, and then you give yourself permission to have a treat with your friends, I mean, as long as it's reasonable, it shouldn't be a bad thing. But a lot of times we get caught up in the moment, we're having fun, we might be having that extra glass of wine, we're not paying attention, and so social settings can be a time where a lot of people will deviate from their food plan. Hey, Lisa, how's it going? Lisa has her and her husband create L&E meals here in San Diego. And so if you're looking for a meal company, they provide clean eating meals. So L&E Meals, they're on Facebook under Lisa Raposa. So contact my friend Lisa if you want some meals in San Diego. Or Lisa, feel free to drop your personal information in the comments below. So let's talk about some cheat meal pros. Like, we're into the pros and cons. So here are some good reasons to have a cheat meal. Notice I didn't say cheat day, cheat week, cheat month, cheat meal. So let's just assume that you're following a diet where your calories are low or your carbohydrates are low because you have a fat loss goal. Now, my opinion is that some of these diets are too strict, and that's part of the problem and not part of the solution. However, let's just say that you're following a diet that's low in calories, and eventually metabolic rate slows down if you lower your calories for too long. And that's just a fact. That means that your body is not as efficient as burning calories as it was when you're eating a higher number of calories. Now, I'm not talking about overeating or binging or anything extreme. So if you bring up your calories temporarily to a maintenance level through a cheat meal, I like to call it a treat meal actually, that's not such a bad thing. You just got to get right back on track. So let's say you're using an app online and you know that to sustain your current body weight, you need 2,000 calories a day. And you cut your calories down to 1,500, which equals about a pound of fat lost in 1 week. And you do this over a period of time. Your body's going to get used to that 1,500 calories and not burn calories as efficiently. So if once a week you bring your calories up to your maintenance level, your 2,000, by adding a 500 calories in addition to what you normally do on your plan, that's not such a horrible thing. You know, you're not eating thousands of calories, you're not binging, you're not doing anything absolutely over the top in terms of the calories consumed. I would say that if you can eat a healthy treat meal, that it would be beneficial, but some people, you know, they want to have their pizza and their hamburgers and a few other things. So, you know, just be reasonable with the amount that you're giving yourself permission to eat. Another reason why cheat meals can be considered a good thing is it allows some flexibility for celebrating birthdays and weddings and special occasions. You know, it creates some flexibility in the diet so you don't feel so guilty about having a deviation, you know, having a piece of birthday cake at your best friend's birthday and then getting back on track. I mean, why should that be a horrible thing? Now, if you're a bodybuilder and you're 2 weeks out from a competition, you might not want to do that. However, if the goal is not super time sensitive and you get right back on track, a small cheat meal is actually good for the soul. I mean, it makes people happy. And it allows them to feel like they're a part of the celebration. I mean, I've been at birthday parties back in the day where I didn't cheat on my diet, and I really felt like I wasn't part of what was going on. I felt a little off to the side or a little alienated. And if I had just given myself permission to have a small piece of cake with everybody, that probably wouldn't have been the feeling. So yeah, or Val Street says, have a birthday cupcake. You know, I mean, you don't have to eat a large piece, just something small. So those are some of the cheat meal pros that I actually see as good things. Now, here are some cheat meal cons. Cheat meals, like I mentioned before, can become cheat days and cheat weeks and cheat months. So if you're that person that's new to your food plan and you think that if you have a cheat meal, that it's going to set you off track and that you're going to overindulge, it's probably not the time for you to experiment with that. Get a little bit more time under your belt. You know, start to feel like you're really in the flow of your nutrition plan before you plan a cheat meal. So just give it some time. The other problem with cheat meals is not only do some people tend to overindulge and just binge and gorge. Some people do it to the point where they have digestive issues for days, or they have bloating or extreme water retention. So, choose foods in moderation that don't do these things to you. So that means one meal of food that doesn't upset your digestive system or cause any kind of excessive bloating or water retention. If you have health issues, this might be something that you would not want to do, because I have some friends and some clients that if they go off their plan and eat certain foods, that they have real severe reactions. I have one friend, she's gluten intolerant. So you can only imagine if she has celiac disease. So if she goes off of her diet and cheats with gluten, then she has a lot of negative side effects. It really causes a lot of flare up in her system. So if you find value in this broadcast, please tag a few friends. At the end of the broadcast, I'm also going to put my free half-hour consultation. So if you are interested, that'll be available to you for listening today. I really appreciate it. So, solutions and strategies. I have something called a treat contract for my clients. And I've actually had some of my clients sign this contract. Not all of them, I mean, only a few. So it's a 4-step process. Here we go. Step number 1, you give yourself permission to treat, not cheat on your plan. So there's 2 points right here. The word treat has a positive sound to it, and the word cheat does not. So I remember in school, if I cheated on my exam, I got in trouble. So that's where I go with those 2 words. So my clients hear me talk about giving themselves permission to treat on their plan versus using the language of cheating on their diet, because I want them to feel empowered. I want them to be responsible, and I want them to be healthy, eating in a sustainable way most of the time. So we use the word treat instead of cheat. The second part of step number 1 is that if you're giving yourself permission to deviate from your program, you're not doing it randomly. So it suggests that there's a certain amount of thought and planning that went into it. So if you're giving yourself permission to treat, then enjoy it. So step number 2 is going to be quantify and visualize exactly what that treat looks like. I like chocolate peanut butter anything. So if I'm going to give myself permission to treat with chocolate peanut butter ice cream, it'll look something like this. I'm going to have, this is a voice, I'm talking to myself. I'm going to have 1 scoop of chocolate butter Haagen-Dazs ice cream in a cup. So that's kind of like a contract that I made with myself. And without sounding conceited, aren't we the most important person in our world? So if I'm making a contract with the most important person in the world, myself, why would I go back on the contract by having 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream? I'm going to suggest that that would be psychologically very disempowering. Because if I can't keep my word to myself, then how am I going to keep my word to other people? I know that's a little deep, but if you've given yourself permission and you've quantified and visualized what your treat is, we're going to get to number 3, which is enjoy it 100% guilt-free. It's a responsible portion, right? You've given it some thought. It wasn't random. So enjoy it. I mean, what's the point of having a treat unless you enjoy it? So choose something ideally healthy, but if it's not healthy, I mean, I like chocolate peanut butter Haagen-Dazs ice cream. That's not exactly healthy, but I'm quantifying it and I'm being reasonable with the portion. So number 3 means that you're enjoying it guilt-free. Now, if you feel that you're not that person yet, then maybe it's just a good idea that you practice consistency with your diet for a while longer before you start this 4-step exercise. And last but not least, you get back on track at your next meal as listed on your plan. If you're not on a plan, you get back on track at your next meal and you make it healthy. So I'd like to take a few questions. Is there anybody out there? I see Val is still with us. And oh, hi, Jody. Long time no see. And Danielle and Yvonne, thank you for joining us. We've been talking about the pros and cons of having a cheat meal. And then we just finished the broadcast with 4 steps to treating on your diet versus cheating on your diet. So what I'm going to do at the end of the broadcast is I'm going to put a free half-hour consultation, whether you're local here in San Diego and you can come to my office, or whether you live someplace like a few of my friends online are from Montreal, Canada, so we can do this by Facebook video, by Facebook Messenger. And all you have to do is send me a private message and we'll schedule that time. So I am very grateful that you joined with me today. Each and every Sunday around 4:30 in the afternoon, that's Pacific Standard Time, you will be listening, if you tune in, to Body by Blackie Live. I'm Sandra Blackie. Thank you for joining me today and have a happy Sunday.